Everybody, this is Jeff Veale, the business guru from downtown Manila with a very croaky voice today, doing lots of these interviews, and it's taking a toll on my throat. Guys, if you want to be on 15 Minutes of Fame, think about it. TV commercial costs you $30,000. 10 radio spots in your city will cost you between $3,000 and $5,000. You can come on 15 Minutes of Fame where it's all about you. And we're going to put you across 14 different social media channels, including YouTube with all your socials, and make you more famous than what you already are, totally free. So why wouldn't you be here? Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, guys. I've got some very, very awesome guests, and they've all got something different to teach you and tell you. And today's guest is an interesting gentleman. His name is Tyson E. Franklin. And Tyson is a business coach, podcaster, speaker, author, and probably a few other things. He'll tell us about that shortly. And his company name, of course, is Tyson E. Franklin. And he specializes in health, particularly the podiatry industry. He's only new at the game. He's only been doing it for a mere 36 years. Doesn't even look 36, does he? And his brief description, he helps podiatrists feel, see, and think differently about the podiatry industry, right? He does this through a one-on-one business coaching, mentoring, group workshops, travel, goes all over the world doing this sort of stuff. His podcast and Podiatry Legends is his podcast. Personal motto, he's got a quote on his office wall that says, "Your next connection could be the one that changes your life." He loves meeting people and connecting with people, right? And my one, guys, is not quite the same. My one is listen to everybody because some of the best ideas come out of the mouths of idiots. So listen to everybody.
They do too.
They do, right? And I take them up on it, which is good. He's got a large collection of hamburger photos that is eaten. And when he will show this to people, they are amazed. And I said, no, it's a pretty cool idea, actually. And we're going to put all these socials, guys, underneath this recording. So you'll get to know Tyson a lot better. But good morning, Tyson. It's my pleasure to introduce you. How are you, buddy?
I'm fantastic. Jeff, thanks for having me on here.
No trouble at all. It's a pleasure. Let's get this show underway. Tell us about your journey and what inspired you to pursue your career path. Where did it all start?
Where did it all start? Well, it started because my brother was a dentist and
right.
I was going to be an art teacher.
Yeah.
And that was always, I just thought I'm going to be an art teacher. So, I did art at school and did all the subjects related to art. And then my brother one day said to me, so you're going to be a broke art teacher. I'll be a rich dentist. And one day you're going to hit me up and start asking me to loan money to buy paint and that sort of stuff. I said, he said, I'll have a Porsche, I'll have a Volkswagen. Eventually you're going to annoy the shit out of me. Yeah. So, and I'll stop talking to you. So we may as well stop now.
I love it.
That's the path you're going to go down. I went, well, so I went and saw my art teacher and I said, by the way, what sort of car do you have? She said, Volkswagen. Why? I went, damn it. That's exactly what my brother said. So my art teacher said, look, you're smart enough to do whatever you want. So I went back, repeated grade 12, dropped art, manual arts, physical education, and did maths, chemistry, physics, biology. Went and saw the principal and said, hey, I need to repeat grade 12. I need to do all these subjects to do something in the health industry. And he went, oh, my God, I thought we're getting rid of you. I said, no, I'm coming back. He said, so you've never done physics, chemistry, biology before, and you're going to do it all now, repeating grade 12. I went, that's the plan. So I did, and I did okay. And then when I was filling in my preferences, a guy that I'd gone to school with from grade 1 through to grade 12 just happened to be at the school when I was thinking about what to do in health. And I said, so Lyndon, what are you doing? He said, doing podiatry. I went, what's that? He goes, feet. Right. I went, I'll be buggered. And he said, we make these things called orthotics that go into shoes. He said, with your art background, you will kill it. And so I got into the health industry because my brother said, if you do something in health, you'll never be unemployed. You'll always make above average income. But it was my art background that actually really intrigued me with biomechanics, seeing things in 3D, the human body.
Interesting.
So it sort of combined really well.
That's before 3D printers and all that stuff came out, eh?
Way before, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, what's been the most challenging aspect of your work and how have you overcome that?
Probably like having your own business, creating a unified team.
Yes.
So you can have people work with you. And I think the hardest thing when you first employ people, you've never done it before. So you usually employ idiots. Yeah. Because you're a business that you work for a lunatic.
Yeah,
you have no experience of running a business and you have no experience employing people. So you just employ anyone that puts a hand up and says, "Oh, I can do that." You go, "Okay,"
No,
and
it's funny
then you
stuff.
figure out they can't. So I think it takes a number of years of employing people, and what I usually tell new business owners is when you employ someone for your first ever employee, let them know that they're your first ever employee, so you can
Yeah.
grow together.
Yes.
Because sometimes they might come to you and think you know what you're doing, and then all of a sudden they think you're just an idiot. So then they
Yeah.
act like an idiot. Whereas
Yes.
if you let them know up front, hey, you're the first person I've ever employed. So if I make mistakes, please bear with me as I'll bear with you if you make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Correct.
And I think that's how you create a good team long term.
No, you're very clever. I'd love to meet your brother. He sounds like a real smarty.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me an important moment of your career which virtually changed in your career, which changed the direction for you.
Probably it was one weekend I went to. I had my podiatry business, things were going
Mhm.
great. And there was a guy by the name of Brad Sugars. I don't know if you've heard of him at all.
I used to do lectures for Brad's audience. I used to teach Brad's coaches how to coach
Yes. So Brad
back in the day.
Sugars
Brad's awesome. I
had
love Brad.
he had an event. Yeah, it was great. I had him on my podcast a few years back, so it was fantastic. But he had an event in Cairns. I went along to it, and it was that weekend event. There was a few things that happened at that weekend,
Yes.
and I was the only podiatrist. So it was all non. It was non-podiatry. What I took away from it was, if you want to learn stuff, look outside your industry. Don't
Yeah,
be
that's
focused just
right.
in your own industry.
Yeah.
But he said a few things just about money and our beliefs around money and
And
setting
system and
goals.
systems.
Yeah, having systems, but also just when you think you've reached your peak, you can't do any more.
That's base camp.
You can actually do more.
Yeah, that's base camp.
And so I walked away from that weekend and just went, wow, that really opened my eyes. And my
Yes.
business pretty much in the next 12 months just doubled.
Yeah, easily.
And then not that I kept working with him in that way, but it just made me realize, wow,
Opened up your mind.
there's a big world out there. There's a
Yeah.
lot of information to absorb. You got to find the right people to actually work with.
Yeah.
That was the biggest change. Was that weekend, but also realizing, look outside your industry. Stop looking within your own industry to get all the information. The answers may not be there.
Yeah, lovely. I love all that. And I still, sometimes see Brad's, he comes on YouTubes and podcasts, and
Yeah,
and he's not a big noter, as you know. He's a cool guy. He drives a Ferrari and it roars. You know, when he's doing the talk, this
yeah.
Ferrari's roaring in the background. It's bloody fantastic. I love it.
Except he's got a slight American accent now.
Yeah, yeah. But he looks about 12, doesn't he? He's,
He,
he's, he's into the Botox for sure.
yeah.
You know, I can't believe how young he looks. You know,
He told me he lives next door to either Penn or Teller, the magician.
yeah, yeah. The two
Yeah,
missions,
it's
yeah.
one of his neighbors or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, but
quite.
he's an awesome guy, Brad. I love him. And the funny thing is, none of his coaches can coach. That's the funny part about it. They all buy a franchise, and they can't
Yeah.
coach to save their lives. So I'm recommending guys don't necessarily get an action coach to help you with
No.
your business. Get a guy who's actually done it, not a guy who bought a franchise or bought a book. Get a guy who, like our friend here, Tyson, who's done the hard yards, right? In your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that you believe have contributed to your success?
Probably just a fierce determination. I don't like
Yeah,
being second.
no,
I
no prize for second.
Yeah, no one remembers who came second in the 100 meters of the Olympics. So it was one of these things, but not always. It's not that you always need to win, because it's
No,
not always about winning
no,
it. If you think you have to win, that means somebody else loses.
sure.
But it was always a challenge against myself. I always was determined to just be better. And I think hard work. Initially, it was hard work.
Yeah,
As time
determination.
went on, hard work changed into smart work.
Yeah, and you're a lifelong learner, obviously, as well.
I love it. I never stop learning. To me, it'll be something that I'll always do because I just enjoy absorbing knowledge. And then, but even more important, I love sharing what I learn.
Yeah.
That's probably even better.
I was 77 this week. Someone said to me yesterday,
Whoa.
what's your plans, Jeff? And I said, oh, I've got it all planned out. I said, I'm going back to Sydney for my 100th birthday. I'm going to do a seminar at the Opera
Yeah.
House.
And so you should.
Yeah, the guy was shocked. I said, yeah, mate, I got it all planned out. Don't worry. I'll see you there. Hopefully, if you look after yourself, you'll be there.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the main thing.
yeah. Tell me, how do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field? What's your secret?
It's constantly looking outside of what I do, looking outside of podiatry because I mainly work with podiatrists, even though I speak at different events that are
Yeah.
not podiatry related. So I love speaking outside of the podiatry
Yes.
industry. because I try and encourage people. If you're looking for a speaker, don't always look within your industry. Look outside of your industry.
Yeah, someone can open up your mind.
Yeah. So, because some of my best ideas in my podiatry clinic came from a hairdresser or
Yes.
just something completely different. Go, oh, wow, that's a good idea. How could I use that in my clinic? So, yeah, one of the things I've always done is just constantly looked outside of podiatry for information that I can share with podiatrists
Mm.
because I know they don't have time to do it. They're so busy in their clinic. I'm
That's
thinking,
right.
let me go and learn this stuff, let it run through my head like a filter,
Yeah.
adapt it to how you could then use that in your particular podiatry business.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
sort of keeps me going all the time.
Yeah, it's just simple stuff. Like, for example, you make an appointment, I go to see you, and you can make an appointment for my next appointment and send me an SMS reminder and all that, all like what I call backup stuff that helps people in a quick, fast-paced world. You know, a lot of people don't do this stuff. I teach my barbers to do it. I say, hey, you want me to come back for a haircut? Remind me, 2 weeks' time,
Yeah.
send me an SMS, come and have a haircut. You know,
I know. I remember my dentist that my brother's down south, so I have a dentist up here. The amount of time, how long it took for me to say to them, can you just make my next 6 month appointment now before I leave so I can just
yeah,
put it straight
correct.
into my phone and it's booked in? And they went, oh, no, normally we send out a recall. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
but what happens is when you send a recall, I get it. It ends up in the mail. I put it on the counter and then a whole pile of other things end up on top of it. Instead of me coming in 6 months, I don't end up coming in for about 9 or 10 months.
Or more.
I said,
Yeah,
I
that's
said you
right.
take that over a decade, you've probably missed 4 or 5 visits with me.
That's
I said,
right.
but if you just book me in before I leave, I've got
Yeah,
my phone.
yeah.
And now they do that, which is great.
And be on time for your appointments. When they're not on time, I tell them,
Oh,
I'm going shopping. SMS me. And they go, what do you
yeah.
mean? I said, I'm not sitting here for an hour and a half in the surgery. I'll wander around the shopping centre, and when it gets close, let me know, and I'll come back. You know,
Yeah,
and they
that's
get
so
they
true.
go, oh, you can't do that. You know, well, I can. You know,
Yeah.
right? We do it my way or the highway. How do you stay? Asked you about motivated. Can you discuss a recent project or an achievement that you're particularly proud of? I'm sure you've got a few.
Probably one of the things I was really proud of that I was able to put together was when COVID hit. Yeah,
Yes.
everything went to shit in a lot of
Yeah,
different areas.
absolutely. I know all about that.
Podiatrists dropped their lolly bags. They didn't know what was going on.
I love that.
And so I put together this thing that I called the 12-week podiatry business reboot. So it was probably about 4 or 5 months into COVID.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Everyone was really panicking. And I was doing a lot of live workshops
Yeah.
at the time. And all of a sudden, I wasn't allowed to do any. So I came up with this program called the 12-week podiatry business reboot. And I picked a number of areas that I felt really helped my business grow.
Yeah.
And I put it together over 12 1 hour weekly segments, put it out there just to see if anyone was interested.
Mm.
And boom, I got 12 people straight up at
Awesome.
14.99 or whatever it was at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Kept you
And I
going.
ran through it. I did that first one. I went, oh, that was great. I'm going to do another one. So
Yeah.
I did another one. And so
Fantastic.
I did 8 of these over a period
Wow.
of time.
Yeah. Over a
And
couple of
then,
years. Yep.
and then all of a sudden, yeah, as everything opened up, I went, I wonder if I can convert this now to a 2-day live podiatry business reboot.
Wow.
So I decided to do that. And both times I've done it twice now, and twice it's been sold out. So
Fantastic.
that was really good. And I felt like
You're a
I
marketer.
really, I really helped the podiatrist at that time
Sure.
through a certain thing. And that's and then I noticed as time went on, as everything was opening up, people could go to events again. I
Yeah.
thought I need to now change it. People are sick of always learning online.
Yeah.
It's
Of
still
course.
good,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
But
nothing beats that live connection.
yeah, that's right. But it's a bit of both. You can do a bit of both. You know, and they're both got their good points.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone who's aspiring to follow in your footsteps?
Uh, Never forget why you're doing what you do.
Yes.
No matter whether it's my footsteps or somebody else's, just remember, why did you choose to do that? What was your reasoning behind it? Because I think
Yeah.
a lot of times, like perfect example, I
Yeah.
always wanted to work for myself so that I
Yes.
was in control of my
Everything.
own destiny, my
Yeah.
income. My
Everything.
my dad my dad died when he was 49. I was 17
Oh,
at the
wow.
time.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Um,
Too sad.
all the bank accounts got closed.
Oh,
Oh, financially, it was
a
one of the
mess.
shittiest periods of my life
Yeah.
ever.
A mess. Yeah.
And he had no life insurance, didn't have a will. And it's, I always say, it's not that he didn't love us. He just never thought about he was going to drop dead at 49.
Yeah, right.
And
Obviously.
yeah, so I always said I would never ever leave my family in the same position that my dad left us in. Not that
Yeah,
he did
fair
it on
enough.
purpose. And that was what drove me initially to work for myself, to do
Yeah.
well.
Set yourself up. Yep.
Yeah, set myself up. But then what happens is you sort of forget that and you get so wound up in going to work and just making money and
Yes.
and all the reasons on why you were doing what you're doing so you could spend time with your family, all of a sudden you're not spending time with your family because you're too busy at work.
Mm.
And about 10 years ago, or a little bit longer, I was at an event and we dug down into why I was doing what I did. And
Yep.
I got emotional when I realized,
You
holy
changed
shit.
direction a bit.
Yeah, I said, I've dropped the ball here. I forgot
Yes.
why I was doing what I was doing.
Yes. I'll tell you about
So
that
I
in a
think
minute.
every person needs to sit down, write down, why are you doing what you're doing?
Mm.
And I reckon every month you need to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing
Yeah. And
and
enjoy
never,
it. And
never lose
enjoy it.
sight of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. I'm on social media a lot, going out, nice restaurants and rooftop bars and things. People say, "You're always out and about." I say, "That's why I work,
Yeah.
to enjoy myself."
It's true.
I work to enjoy myself and I need to be able to afford it, so I have to work, right?
Yeah. And that's
And
what I do now. Like I did really well from podiatry. I had a
yeah,
number of clinics around
yes,
Queensland. I sold everything.
yeah,
So financially, I'm in a really good spot. I could just stop doing what I'm doing and
me
just
too.
enjoy
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
But I really
You'd
enjoy
probably be dead in two
learning.
years if you did that.
Yeah, but I enjoy learning and I enjoy sharing stuff
Absolutely.
with other people.
Yeah,
And if I make a little bit of money from it as I'm
it's a
doing it, that's
bonus.
fantastic.
It's a
But
bonus.
in my bio, in the last thing in my bio, I usually have written there, and it says, "Yeah, I'll never find the cure for cancer, but I hope I inspire someone who inspires someone who does."
Yeah, not bad. Very good.
So I just so anytime I get a little bit flat, and my why about looking after my family, that's all taken care of.
Yes.
But what keeps me going now is going, okay, I'm not going to find the cure for cancer, but I'm going to inspire someone who will inspire someone. I don't know who that's going to be yet. I may not have met them.
Yes.
I may have already met them. I may have
Yeah.
already inspired them.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
so I have to just keep doing what I'm doing. And as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, I agree with you fully. I'm meeting some interesting guests over the last few years doing this, and one of the things that come to mind, I used to chase the money very hard. I chased money from 30 to 70. I chased money super hard, like you wouldn't believe. I chased money,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it, but I chased it real hard, like a bear with a sore head. But it came at a price because when I went to work, my kids were still asleep. When I came home, they were back in bed.
Mm.
So they knew their mother, didn't know their dad, they knew their mother. Follow what I mean? So there was a
Yeah.
there was a
No,
trade-off.
exactly.
There was a trade-off without me partially realizing it. We had the $1 million house and the brand new cars and the best of everything, right? But it all came at a price. Now, when COVID came along, I lost over $20 million, long story. And then I thought, shit, it's not about the money, it's about having fun.
Mm.
So I went back to just like you said, having fun, and the money just flows as well, you know.
Yeah. I think when you don't focus on the money, the I think as long as you're enjoying what you do,
Yep.
and you've got to get that balance between making money because you've got to make a
Yeah, sure,
living.
got to pay your
Yeah,
bills,
and
yep.
if you're still paying, like some people say, somebody is it because when you're older and
Yeah.
you're in a financially good position, you can give this advice to people who are younger. But I
Yes.
think if
No,
younger
you got
people
to
could
you got to
really,
you got to earn it.
yeah, you've got to work to get things paid off. But I think you've got to look after your health. You've got to look after your family. There's a lot of other things
Absolutely.
that if you
Health's a,
lose it, you
health's a big
can't get
one.
it back.
Health's a big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So I always say if you can fix a problem with money, then you don't really have a problem.
Yes. Some problems, Kerry Packer will tell you, some problems you
Yeah.
can't fix with money.
Yeah. Like he was a billionaire and what was he dead at 69?
Yeah,
I'm sure if he could go back, he would do things differently.
absolutely. Well, the smoking was a big one, you know.
Yeah. Only been worth $1 billion instead of 5 billion. I don't think his lifestyle would have changed too
Yeah, and
much.
all he does is leave it behind for James to make a
Yeah.
mess of it, you
James
know.
having a good time.
Yeah, as they do. Tell me, how can our listeners reach out and find out, or our people watching reach out and find out more about you? What's the best way?
Easiest way is probably go to my website, tysonfranklin.com. That's
Hmm.
probably the easiest way. And or my podcast, podiatrylegends.com. From there, usually most of my links to my newsletter and how to find me on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram are
Sure.
usually as a link on there somewhere.
All right. Before we wrap it up, tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know.
Oh, a fun fact about myself that most people don't know,
Yeah.
other
What's
than
a
my
fun fact?
burger collection. Um, Trying to think.
There's
You
always
probably
something.
asked me this question beforehand.
It was on the sheet. It was on the sheet.
Oh, it was on the sheet.
Down the
Damn it.
bottom. On the right on the
What
bottom.
what did I say?
You didn't say
Because
anything. No, it was just on. It was on the question. Sorry, it was on it wasn't on the sheet. It was on the question. I gave you the questions as well. You know,
yeah, well, one thing it's
meant to be. It's up to me. That's a good one.
yeah. Yeah, usually most people I've been okay. A fun fact that most people don't know about me is I was attacked on a shark on my surfboard by a shark. That's a
Shit.
fun fact,
Well, that would have
and
been fun at the time.
it scared the crap out of me. I haven't
Yeah.
surfed since.
Wow.
Most people say, "Oh, yeah, you should just get back on the bike." I mean, I ain't getting back on that bike. That's that
You're a
bike's
funny man.
long gone.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah,
It's amazing.
and most people, yeah, I'm a left-handed guitar player. That's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Even though I'm right-handed.
That's amazing, huh?
Yeah, I'm right-handed, but I decided to play the guitar. I decided to play the guitar left-handed, so no one would play my guitar.
You're a very interesting fella. No, at school, they bashed the shit out of me. I left school and home at 14 because all they tried to teach me at school was don't smile, which I all
Yeah.
keep doing, and sit up straight. And I was back in the day, remember, I was a left-hander. I
Oh,
used to
so they
beat the,
spanked you.
oh yeah, I got smashed over the knuckles every day. I got smacked. And a quick one, guys. One day I was at school. I was about, I don't know, 7 or 8, and I jumped the fence. I'm a bit of a rebel. I jumped the fence and went over to the pie shop, and I got myself a pie. And I come back. I was in the yard eating this bloody pie, having a wonderful time with big pie, and all dripping down my chin. Next thing you know, these two crows, like nuns in
Yeah.
their habit outfit, like two
Oh,
crows,
yeah.
came
Oh,
down,
crows.
picked me up bodily, and my little legs were going up in the air. They took me over to a room, and true story, guys, they bashed the shit out of me. I was bleeding, my legs were bleeding, the whole lot. They
The
bashed the
nuns did
shit.
that.
Oh, absolutely. They bashed the
Jeez.
shit out of me for eating a pie on a Friday. It's fish day Fridays. I didn't
Oh,
know.
that's right.
I'm 8 years old, right?
That's right, because you can't.
Can't eat meat on
Oh, because you couldn't
Fridays.
eat meat on the Fridays.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm eating a meat pie, having a good time. And then with that, I walked. Another part of the story, guys. I walked home about 3 miles to my home, as you used to in those days, but there was no school buses much.
Yeah.
Anyway, and my legs are bleeding, everything else. No one gave a shit. I walked all the way home with bleeding legs, a whole bit, but no one stopped and said, "Oh, how are you, son?" Or they just didn't want to know about it.
Which
You
is
know.
harsh.
So
It is
next
harsh.
next day,
I've heard some scary stories about
that was one of them.
yeah.
Yeah, they bashed the shit out of him. No more Catholic school for me. I don't even know why I was there anyway. I'm not a Catholic.
Yeah.
My silly mother just put me into that school. And anyway, the rest is history. And no wonder I left school.
Well, you still did okay though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, mate, I'm a survivor. I'm a Fonzie of the world. Tyson, it's been awesome, buddy. And
Yeah, this has been great.
thanks for being much on the show. And guys, if you want to be on the show too and get your 15 minutes of fame, please feel free to reach out. We're doing this every day during November. So you've got your chance, you've got no excuses, and we'll make you famous all over the world, just like Tyson. Thanks very much, buddy.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot, Jeff.